This is for Jesus Warriors Club once more, and we're going to talk about something that has to deal with what most of us don't know, but we have a lot of theories about it. Let's talk of first creation. Creation is an interesting topic. When I was young, I was taught the Bible version that we know. In the beginning, the earth was null and void, and there were waters over the surface of the earth. That's how it begins. So it was null and void, that means it wasn't there. Then it was there with waters. And the Spirit of God, the soul of God, was floating on the waters. And God said, "Let there be." And after they said that, then they said, "Let us, let us, let us." That's what I mean. And whoever would ask me, what does this "let us" mean? I was not able to explain. Later, the good pastors in our churches where I was told me this is not something to bother you. This is God talking to himself. He is God. He is talking to God the Son, and he's talking to God the Father. It was left like that. Until now, when I started knowing that there are other theories of creation. The second was the Big Bang science. When we were in primary school, we were told creation is an interesting thing. It started from a singular point. Then the singular point exploded and formed everything that you see now and is still cooling. That was the second I learned. And there were conflicts. When you went to church, people would say, those ones who are saying there was a Big Bang are against God. And then some people who believed in science, they didn't know that these things complement one another, would tell you, those people don't understand. Because they just start by talking about the creation of the earth, the water on the earth, and these other things. What explains what was there before? And as I grew up with that confusion, I started learning some things. I was made to believe science was an enemy to religion, and religion was an enemy to science. Then, as I started understanding science, I realized also there were other theories about creation. Saddleback. Another one, I think the bubble something, where it goes and then bang, everything goes and you begin from the beginning. There's another one where the fabrics of the universe collide and there's a new formation, then they expand again. So there are many theories. There are many theories of creation. It's not only the Big Bang. But let's look at the Bible part, the religious part. We knew of the beginning. Little did we know that books like Jubilee had been edited. Jubilee, the book of Jubilees, from the Ethiopian Bible, the oldest, I think, one of the oldest. talks about a team of angels creating different planets, different solar systems, different universes, and others overseeing the running of these universes. A team. Another creation. The Gnostics talk of the spirit of the universe. Wisdom, they call it Sophia. And Sophia, in her purest form, is unique. But when Sophia relaxes, part of Sophia becomes inferior and creates the things that we see. So the things that we see are a section of Sophia when she's not thinking at her best. Sophia is wisdom. And all these things got me mixed up. Because everything was the truth. The scientists did not tell us it was a theory. No. Big Bang happened. The Bible did not tell us anything about a theory. No. There was that creation. Little did we know about the Jubilees and these other things. Then you get to realize they are also talking about that being the truth. But eventually, as I pursued the sciences, I realized they were theories. So whoever was saying the Bible was theoretical did not realize that what they believed were realities, were theories. And those also from the other side did not believe that, know that others thought what theirs were theories. So there is no uniform story about creation. No uniform. It's only from what text you were taught. Was it from the edited part of the Bible? Was it from the original other books that were edited from the Bible? Is it from your science class teacher? That aside, I started getting an interest in what was happening in the universe. Saw the pictures of men landing on the moon and the interesting surface of the moon all appearing black, and then the sky appearing black, but the surface of the moon with hills and valleys. Exciting. It's just like you're in a desert part of the earth. Another world away from us. Another world not attached to us. When I was small, I could not believe there are other worlds. I knew this is the only place with land. Then came the big day when the rovers landed and they were sending the photos of Mars, and I couldn't believe, it was so Earth-like. Pinkish sky, valleys and whatever, and snow, and a bit of snow, a bit of sand. The part that they landed, a bit of it. So you could not know a desert place. That's another planet, that red thing we see up there. But by then I've not heard the sound of any other thing outside Earth. Then came the big day when the probe that had been sent to Europa, the moon, is Europa going around, is it Jupiter or is it Saturn? One of the two. We'll find out. You can be able to find out from the science manuals or from your internet. And the wind from Europa was blowing with a whistling sound, just like the wind blows on Earth. I was amazed that for the first time I could hear a sound from another world. That was when internet had not started, but it was announced by the scientists, those things that had been discovered in the TV that time, and it was beautiful hearing a wind, sound of a wind from another distant world. It was amazing. Then came in the big shock. The sun. When they were showing some other things, I didn't know that there were telescopes that would be able to take the sun. And then there was that sound. And it was scary. You see the fires going up and a roaring sound, continuous. I didn't know the sun produces a sound when it is burning, reacting. Then I realized that there is a wind that blows from the sun continuously. And it was amazing. Amazing in that whatever we used to see as a disc was not a disc anymore. It was a burning ball. When they focus closer, it burns in a scaring way. But that's what gives the warmth to this planet and other planets. So I wanted to understand about this sun, because the star that is most studied, most understood by we human beings is the sun. I learned that people in the former years used to believe that the sun was a small satellite going around the earth. By then the earth was supposed to be big and everything was going around it the way we'd been taught from the religious books. Scientists came and realized, no, that is not the case. Planets go around the sun. Then, what is the most amazing fact about the sun? Over 1 million Earths will be able to fit in the place of the sun. Over 1 million, over, to form the size of the sun. So the sun is not a small thing, it's a very big thing. In the solar system, the sun occupies 98% of the space. So it means all the planets and everything take 2%. But even out of these 2% again, 1.5 is the mass of Jupiter. So the rest of the planets share half. Amazing. Amazing. That 98% is the sun. 2%, all these other planets we know in the solar system. But there is a giant planet which takes 1.5 of that. That is Jupiter. And the others are left sharing that other small portion. But what is interesting about the sun? It's a gaseous entity that produces energy by nuclear fission. There's a lot of magnetism around it, a strong wind blowing continuously into space, and it goes past the sun, past the earth, past all the other planets. The probes realize that it goes far beyond the planets, and it forms a protective bubble around itself, protecting whatever is inside it. That is the most interesting thing I had never known. That wind goes and it goes and it goes and it goes, and wherever it goes, the very final places, it ends forming a bubble. So we are protected in that bubble of the solar wind. And now, when the scientists, people first talked of the sun, they knew the sun as a burning rock. And this was what they thought. Until a lady studied the sun. She did a lot. She studied the way we identify the stars, the way we can be able to tell the chemicals, composition of things on those stars by using the light only, even the mass and the movement. And by that time, our optical instruments were small. They were less powerful. We could only see the light. Later, there are those who started identifying the way you can be able to differentiate the light from the star and the planet. And suddenly we started realizing that other stars also have planets. That's the most interesting. So the number of planets that are there are uncountable. But what is interesting about this star of ours, according to the scientists that I've studied, is that as it burns, it produces new materials in it. So it's like an onion where you peel and peel, because it's burning, the inner materials are reacting. It's not transparent, by the way. You only see up to the outer layer, the atmosphere of the sun, the corona. You can't see beyond the corona. There are X-ray observatory tools that can be able to see a bit inside. This lady who discovered this, found the name is Cecilia Payne Kapowskins or something like that. Some names are difficult to pronounce. She's the one who gave us most of this knowledge that we use, astronomical knowledge. It's nice. She was the first one to be able to convince us that the stars and the sun are burning masses of hydrogen, producing these things by the reactions. I'm left at a loss because there is magnetism that makes it appear. There is this probe that has been sent to the sun and it has touched the atmosphere, the corona of the sun, and has taken photos from there. I don't know how it was designed in that it doesn't melt under those temperatures. And the interesting part is that from whatever it was taking, there seems to be electromagnetically formed parts all over the sun that appear like campfires. And these may be the ones heating, generating, and producing everything that we see. They say within it, the reactions, light takes a very long time before it comes. It may take millions of years, and then there'll come a time when it will. And that's now when it comes to us as light from the sun. The light we are seeing now was not produced now. It was produced, some of the light was produced before many of us were born. So, I said, let's be candid. The earth is supposed to have been formed from the sun. That material is what theoretically, scientists say that cooled and formed whatever we have here. So if we agree that magma is molten rocks, I don't know. This hydrogen, could it be forming the magma? Could it be forming something like that? Because they say it forms iron, it forms whatever. There was a time I I I realized somebody had studied and said that the sun has also got water that helps within itself. It's interesting. There are many things that the scientists have said. But my question is, I don't know. I've only seen what NASA and others have, and to a small extent, not that much with their explanations. If there are many campfire projections over the surface, could it be molten rocks? Just a thought. Just a thought. I don't know. Because the good lady, which she has helped people, scientifically, people have gone far. And the original theory was rock, then hydrogen. But everything, even Jupiter appears to be having that hydrogen and whatever. It's interesting because nobody has been able to see that, and this is the very first time that people have approached the sun. Because I always wonder, in the Bible they wrote of rock of ages. As I was trying to find a bit of things, because I know I cannot be able to talk as much as the scientists have discovered and in details like they do. This is an interesting thing that I found. The sun in English is also called Sol, S-O-L, Sol. Interesting. This is something that has to keep us thinking, because mostly scientifically we talk about what we see, and the theories are created from that. Come like fires or reactions. It's interesting, I don't know. I've not been able to observe that. But to me it appears like camp like fires, and think of magma. And yeah, I would need more clarification from the scientists who study. But now I understand when the Bible talks of rock of ages. It has been there, still there, maybe there for a long time. Something to talk about, something to think about. But also, it's interesting to know that it is the sun that the sun rotates. That's the interesting thing. And the sun is in motion, and the planets are in motion at a very high speed. The sun is not stagnant like many of us think. It's in motion, with all the planets beside it in motion, in different perspectives. So the earth is moving, the sun is moving, and they are moving around the sun's gravity. And the sun is moving at even a higher speed than all the planets, but dragging them along with it. That is the most interesting part. It's just us getting to know that God is a loving God. What, in the place we live in, what surrounds us, and what we see as just a ball and a planet, a piece of land, is more than what we can be able to imagine. That's why I want to finish by saying, this world is not the way you see it. It's very different. This should encourage you to have faith in God, have faith in what's moving around, but our understanding of that faith may appear a bit different from what we know. That's the most interesting thing. But that is the sun, our nearest star. And then shocking is that they say that is a dwarf star. Interesting that our sun is a dwarf star. So it means there are those that are moderate and there are those that are giant. Stars that may be almost 800 times the size of the sun, producing so much light. So if we take it up to there, generally, haven't we eaten the fruit? We're more enlightened than we were. And we know that also as the earth protects us, the sun is protecting whatever is within its sphere. Very interesting. That's my take for now.